So hey everyone, as always, welcome to the channel. Thanks for hanging out for a few. My name is Rich Charpentier. I'm the channel host, and for those of you new here, we're normally talking about building our drone business, doing autonomous flights, doing construction progression reporting, doing standard imaging as well. And then we also talk about some of the things that go into building our small drone business. Now, I owe an apology to new people on the channel who've been coming in over the past couple of months. We've been doing a lot of different topics. I've been doing a lot of extra stuff over on the Patreon channel, and I feel like I've neglected some of the basics on this channel for people new to the channel. Yes, we talk about the basics here a lot, but I feel like I need to kind of pull things back a little bit on the channel for you for a moment and bring you through something simple. What I've been doing a lot of lately, we've been doing more complex sites, we've been doing raw land build sites, we've been documenting the progression of those sites, and some of that stuff's actually a little bit more advanced. So I wanted to come back to where it started for us as we started doing a lot of raw land sites for realtors and builders and people who purchased the properties and wanted to document their new home build. So I keep looking for these more complicated topics for you all. And, that might be a little bit of overkill. So today I wanted to do something simple. This is going to be a multi-part series, but today we're going to talk about the beginning of a raw land shoot that we're going to be doing for a client. And it's a client we've worked with before, and they've enjoyed the work that we've produced for them. So they dropped a note just a couple of days ago, and they said, hey, we've got 3 new parcels, 3 raw land parcels that we're going to be selling. And they're realtors. And so they're going to be selling this on behalf of someone who owns these 3 parcels. And I still need to get a little more information from them. But right now, what I have up on screen is I've got Google Chrome up, and we're looking at the Yavapai County Interactive Tax Map. So this is usually when I'm doing raw land sites, this is my starting point. Somebody gets in touch, they say that they're going to be selling a property, they would like some video, they would like some stills, and what's the cost going to be, and all of that depends on where we're going. So this one's going to be a little more expensive because some off-roading's involved, and it's definitely going outside of our 30-mile radius. So if you're new to interactive tax maps and parcel maps across the country, usually the counties will have this documentation, and now it's all online. So we're in Yavapai County. We also work up in Coconino County and Maricopa County as well. But normally we are in Yavapai County. Now, these realtors, they know the deal with me, so they knew the questions that I was going to be asking them. And one of the big questions was, can you give me some parcel IDs so that I could start planning this flight mission for you? So the basics. We got a request from someone. We need to find out about the location. We need to do some pre-planning before we get to the location so that we can deliver good results for them in a timely manner and that we don't have to come back to the location a couple times over. I've already taken a look at this one, and this is going to be a challenging one. And I think as you look at this, you can ponder this too, and I will look forward to your comments because I'm looking for some suggestions from you. So here we have the parcel map. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to search, and I am going to search on the parcel number. Now you'll see with the Yavapai County parcel map, I could search on an address, but sometimes that doesn't work so good. Sometimes it's an utter fail. So I'm always looking for the parcel number or the APN number. Now they gave me theirs, 202.13177. And let's go ahead and do a search here. So it's this little lot right here. This is 1 of 3. Now the email also told me that 202.13.178 is one of the parcels as well. And 202.13.179 is the other parcel. So 3 parcels in total. Before I move on, I'm going to check something out for myself. Over on the right-hand side, so we've got some ownership information. We've got the physical address, and we've got the assessor acres. So this particular parcel is 10.6 acres. That's a sizable property. That's only one of the 3. Look at the other 2. They're much larger. So already in my head looking at this, I'm thinking about how I'm going to want to fly this, where we're going to be directing the camera, where we're going to be thinking about video. And I can already tell this is going to be a big flight. So one question I have as a follow-up to them, are we selling all these parcels together as one, or is each of these, do we want to accentuate things about each of these? Now we also see that we do have a road in here. I've already been looking into that. It is a dirt road. It's not looking like it actually continues down to this point on Google Earth, which means we can have some access issues. So we've got to have that in the back of our minds as well as to how we're going to fly this. Now, let's just take a look at the other two. So I could start blocking things out here for flight, but before I do that, I actually would like to go back. We're going to do another search. We're going to do it on 178, and there are other ways to do this, but I'm just going to select this one. So we already looked at 177. Here's 178. Here's the thing that I was looking for. That parcel is 57.55 acres. So 57.5 acres, basically. That is a large parcel. So when I start planning this out, I need to have in my mind, while we're thinking about this, the fact that I'm probably going to have to be moving locations in order to maintain visual line of sight with my drone. Now, I know there's a lot of drone channels out there who do testing, and you can fly the drone this many miles away and that far away and that fast. We don't do that here. We're actually planning to do the work for our clients, and we're planning to do it the right way. So one of the things we do not get out of our visual line of sight, I do have a visual observer with me. So oftentimes we'll have to move between parcels, tear down and set up to get the capture of each of these. So one of my big questions to the realtors, do we want to do this as one big swath, or do we want to break these up as individual flights? So that's going to be a question popping up for them. And usually we explain it to them and say, this is going to take a little extra time because of the size of the parcels that we're dealing with. So let's do the last one here. So 179, and I wanted to take a look at this. So this is 25 acres. So we've got 25 acres, 10 acres, and 55 acres. That's a sizable, if it was an individual lot, this is a very sizable. But if they are going with the boundaries that they have today, and it's 3 different ones, then I'm going to be planning 3 different flights for myself in the end. Now, one of the other things that we do here, so we've blocked out the area, we know where we're supposed to be flying, we know that we've got a dirt road coming in here. I need to give myself some reference material. Now, these clients are not looking for a 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional model. They're not looking for an orthomosaic model. They just want to showcase the properties for sale. So their big question was some still images and some flights where we're actually doing video to present these. So I've got a couple of additional questions for them. We're here on a Saturday planning this, and I'll be dropping them a note back asking them to clarify a couple things. Now, one of the big things that we do here, we set up a lot of autonomous flights. We utilize Litchi, we utilize Drone Harmony, we use Ground Station Pro, we use Map Pilot Pro. That's our big arsenal. And so depending on how we want to document things and do our prep work will help us decide on which application we're going to use for blocking some of this out. In this case, I'm going to be using Litchi because I know that we're not doing 2D or 3D modeling, so we're not doing any grid patterns or anything. So we just need to define the boundary areas that we want to be working within. And in order to do that, all of these different parcel maps, they're all going to look different. So while you're looking at this one and you're in Massachusetts, don't think that your counties is going to look exactly like this interactive map. So be prepared for that. Be prepared to do a little hunting around so you can clarify to yourself, hey, how do I get the GPS coordinates? How do I search each of these? They're all a little different. Just the county, one county north of us, Coconino County, their interactive map looks very different from the Yavapai interactive map. Both of them do the same thing though. So don't get confused or dissuaded. Just know it's hidden on here somewhere. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to define some of these property corners for myself. And I'm going to do it in decimals degrees. And we're going to click on Add Coordinates. Now that I've done that, if I take my little mouse cursor and I click on this corner here, it gives me the GPS location for that corner. So now I'm going to come over here, make my second one, and then we know on this third one, I'm going to click right in there. So these do not need to be perfect. Nobody is taking measurements from these. These are images and videos. So we're just defining a flight area, and on a smaller area, we might define a flight area that we follow the waypoints around for a nice, smooth, compelling video. And so I'm just going to go through and click a couple more of these corners for myself. And we'll bring that one down to about here. And then this one right to here. So now I have some of my GPS information, which I can now bring into Litchi to block out that flight area. Now I've already done this work ahead of time because I didn't want to bore you with this. But so on Litchi, you can set things up on your mobile device, whether it's a tablet or a phone, if they're iOS. So if you're using an iPad or an iPhone, on the Litchi application, you can actually go pre-plan your flights as well. But one of the really nice things is Litchi offers their mission hub, and you can do planning right on their mission hub. So before I started this video for you, I already went through and made some corners beforehand and set them up in the Litchi mission hub. So you can see pretty quickly. So from here to here, this is the first lot over here. And then we've got this second little lot in here, and then the third lot as well. So we now have our flight area where we could go out and start shooting some still images. We could turn this Litchi setup into a flight path where the drone follows each of these corners all the way around with video on, or taking still photos from these locations. But in the case of properties where I'm not blocking out a grid for a two-dimensional or three-dimensional model, oftentimes what I'm doing is I'm actually using this Litchi setup, their waypoint missions, as just reference for myself so that I can see on screen when I'm operating the drone where the drone is in here. So when we launch the drone from right about here, which is my first thought, we're going to come in on this dirt road, we're going to come over to this corner, and we're most likely going to launch the drone from here, and I can fly around inside of this boundary area. So I don't have to use a waypoint mission to automatically follow the waypoints. I can use a waypoint mission to block out an area that I know that I'm going to be shooting in. So I'm going to be sending a screen capture of this to the clients and asking them, so where would our starting points be? And so where our starting points would be, and where they'd like us flying. Most likely they will be coming out on location and meeting with us. The last time that we worked with them, they did come out on location so they could see and pick some of the views. One of the other big questions I'm going to have for them is accessing this side over here. So from this waypoint that we've selected, from this one to the northwest side, you can see right here, Litchi has a notice for me that that's 0.5 miles. So one of the things that we do want to keep in mind at all times is our visual line of sight, not only making it easy on my visual observer, but also making sure that we're following all the FAA rules and guidance. And in the case of this, 0.5 miles does get out of my visual line of sight. So I've got my glasses sitting around here somewhere. I don't have a really bad prescription or anything, but the drones do get small pretty quick as you start moving them away from you. So one of the things that we're going to be consulting with the clients about is there another access point somewhere in here that we can launch from for this side of our flight area? Now that smaller 10-acre area and the smaller 20-something acre area, was it? Let's double check, 25.5, we could deal with right in here and keep it within our visual line of sight. But as we start moving to the west, we see this is raw land here. There is a bit of a wash, maybe a four-wheeler track in here for people with quads coming out. We do see a real road in here, but we need to consult with the clients about where we can launch from in here so that we are keeping the drone within our visual line of sight. So normally for me, somewhere in 1,500 to 2,000 feet away, and that's going to be depending on time of day, clouds, lack of clouds, etc. But so we have the basics, the preparation to go ahead and go in and fly this property with a couple of minor questions that we need to get answered. When we get to the location, we'll pull up Litchi and we can actually pull up this flight, so the Linden-Kirkland flight, and then we can start operating. We can either follow our waypoints, maybe make some new waypoints, maybe make some points of interest, or we can just use this waypoint mission as our bounding box to show us where we're going to be shooting and what we're attempting to capture. And so if you wanted to showcase some of this from north to south, the drone's actually going to be probably flying further north, shooting back into this area. So that's okay. The reason why I'm belaboring this is because one of my students on Teachable recently asked me the question, well, what do you do, with these Litchi missions if we need to shoot in? And I said, the Litchi mission, you don't even have to turn it on. You can just use this mapped out area as reference for yourself while you're flying the property. This isn't a site where we're going to be doing construction progression. This isn't a site where we're going to be doing time-lapse orthomosaics or anything. This is a site where we're just going to be capturing standard images and standard video. So in the next video that comes out on this, we'll have you on the property with us, and I'll talk to you a little bit about the challenges and the answers that we got from the clients. We'll then fly the location, shooting video and shooting stills, and then we'll bring all that back to the office and we'll go through what we captured. So this is part one. Us going out to the location is going to be part two. And then our final work on the video and on the stills will be part three for you. And if you're interested in more information like this, and also our construction progression work and our Litchi classes and our ground station classes, feel free to stop by teachable.com. It's az-drone.teachable.com, and it's down in the lower right corner of your screen right now. So you can check out our other courses that we do. But I did want to get back to a very simple one where we're just thinking photography and video, and where we're not blocking out these super crazy autonomous flight missions. Instead, we've got a very simple job to do. But as you can tell, we do have some challenges with this area, especially keeping the drone within our visual line of sight, and also making sure that we're aware of everything on this property location so we're not running across obstructions or other issues. All right, everyone, I hope this one was useful, especially for the new beginners who are becoming part of this channel every single day. Thanks for all the new people coming in here, by the way. It's much appreciated. I hope this one was helpful, and even for our more advanced students and the folks over on our Patreon channel, I hope this was useful to you as well, backpedaling a little bit to something a little simpler. All right, everyone, we'll see you again real soon. Have a great start to your week.